Start. I am not making any commentary. There are other institutions. For example, the judiciary. The government precipitated the impeachment of Mr. Ramaswamy. I can mention that name because his impeachment proceedings were started here in the Lok Sabha. Then it backed out in the process. What happened? The entire judiciary has been reduced to a laughing stock. Could any government do these things? Therefore, my submission is that this government, within its few years of rule, has eroded the parliamentary institutions. The credibility of the institutions created by the constitution over a period by various legislations to protect and safeguard the rights of the people has been systematically eroded. That is the point I would like to make. Somebody just now referred to the center state relations. The government seems to be oblivious of the emerging political situation in the country. At one time, the Congress was ruling both at the center and in many states. It had a sort of monopoly of power in the country. Now the situation has drastically changed. Different parties are ruling in different states, so the government should come forward with a proposal where they can create some institutional frameworks so that the central and state governments which are ruled by different parties should work together. But that kind of cooperation between the center and the states on many of the programs initiated by the government cannot be implemented properly. They cannot be taken to the grassroots level. For examples, in the presidential address, three schemes were enunciated. They are: one is the employment assurance scheme, the second is the Mahila Samriddhi Yojana, and the third is a Rozgar Yojana. Some other schemes have also been mentioned in the president's address, but how are they going to implement these schemes without involvement of the state governments? The implementing agencies are state governments. These schemes would have to reach the targeted groups through the state administration. In the president's address, a mechanism has been suggested as to how to implement these schemes. A committee of secretaries at the prime minister's level or a special cell in the prime minister's office would be created to implement these schemes. Can they reach 6 lakh villages in this country by sitting in Delhi? Is it possible? How are they going to ensure implementation of these schemes without involvement of the state governments? Is it a jog after all? I rise to speak on this motion of thanks. I remember one thing. When Dr. Shankar Dayal Sharma was elected to the highest office in the country, the Prime Minister said that the nation was safe in his hands. I now remember those words. What the Prime Minister said then has been proved today. The nation is safe in his hands. The President has said that the year 1993 started with problems but ended on a note of optimism. It is proved. Why did he say that the year ended on a note of optimism? It is because of the improved law and order situation, a record food grains production, unprecedented levels of procurement, very high levels of food grains stocks, containment of the rate of inflation at a single digit level, comfortable foreign exchange reserves, etc. These are the achievements of the present government under the leadership of Shri P.V. Narasimha Rao during the last about 3 years. The President has talked about the achievements and the future programs of the present government. I heard Mr. Morarka. He was jokingly saying that the greatest achievement of the present government is the turning of the minority into majority. I wish he were here, but he is not present here, turning our $1 billion of foreign exchange reserves into $13 billion is not a joke. It is not easy. We could do this under the leadership of the present Prime Minister, who was rightly chosen the right man as the Finance Minister of India. Today I am very happy that we have the best Finance Minister. He is the best Finance Minister in the world. I feel very much privileged to have him. So, we must be thankful and grateful to the President for mentioning all these things. The inflation rate in 1991 was 17%. Today it is just above 8%. So we have to be thankful to him for mentioning this. About the law and order situation, of course, he has said that it has improved, but it is very debatable. It has improved in Punjab. Of course, we can say that in Punjab it was an insurgency problem and not a law and order problem. That has been totally solved. Now normalcy has returned to Punjab. We must also be very happy about this. Let me go to Jammu and Kashmir. When I joined Parliament, the situation in Jammu and Kashmir was very bad. Jammu and Kashmir was burning. The next point is about the information of the National Commission on Human Rights. This is very appropriate. This has been done to counter the allegations made by our friends. Today, unfortunately, we have unfriendly friends as our neighbors. They are all friends but very much unfriendly. So you have to counter their charges diplomatically. So after the National Commission on Human Rights was set up, the world knows that India is very much concerned about human rights. So by establishing the Human Rights Commission, we can somehow refute the charges. For this also we have to be very thankful to the President. Another point is regarding population control. The President say that the potential rate of growth in 1990-91 was 2.14%. The important point is that the annual rate of population growth has come down to 1.9%. I am happy to know this, but I still have my doubts and fears about the way the population rise has been controlled. The family welfare measures are being adopted only by the affluent sections of the population. You know, in the Western countries, ladies are resorting to birth control measures not for the welfare of the country or the family, but because they want to be free from the burden of children. Stop.